we're going to go ahead and get started right now. And again, thank you again for being here. This is our second biannual WildFire Symposium event. And before we get started, I'd like to introduce some different dignitaries that are in the room. We have our North County Fire Board of Directors. We have Director Ross Pike. Director Jeff Egan. And President Chris Schaap. Thank you for being here and your continued support for the Fire District. In addition, we have Matt Stockton with Carl DeMaio's office. And we have Ryan Ewert with Lori Davies' office. And lastly, we have John Pletz, which is the president of the Vista Fire Protection Board. Okay, over the next hour, you guys are going to hear from different local agencies on how they are working together to make your community safe in the event of a wildfire event before, during, and after. Just remember, this is not an open question and answer forum. However, if you have questions, please write it down and visit the individual or the booth afterwards. So, thank you very much, and again, thank you for being here. I'd like to kick it off to North County Fire Chief Keith McReynolds.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Like Division Chief August said, this is the second time that we've done this. It's already been 2 years for those of you that were here back when we did this back in 2023. Show of hands, how many of you have lived in Fallbrook more than 10 years? Show of hands. Or the area, let's call it North County for that matter. I know we have folks here from different communities. Longer than 20 years. Longer than 30 years, North County. Okay, so for those of you that have been around, you know that we do live in a wildfire-prone region of California, and as we were reminded back in January, it's not just the inland valleys or the mountains that are impacted by wildfire. The Palisades fire burned right down to the sand on the beach. Fallbrook actually had our own night of wildfires back on January 21st, and it didn't make a ton of news because of the amazing, incredible work of the guys in blue behind you here today. I know I've said it 100 times, but you know, there's firefighting and then there's firefighting. And these guys leaned in, gals leaned in hard that morning. We had a fire burning in the footprint of all three of our big fires of the last 30 years. The Gavilan fire, the Rice fire, and the Lilac fire, all within a 90-minute time frame. And so it was just absolutely astounding during those Santa Ana winds that we were experiencing that we didn't lose a single house and not a single life was lost. Yeah. But although we had a very successful outcome back on January 21st, just a matter of time before we're impacted by wildfire again. I don't say that to scare you, but I do say that because we have to remain vigilant. Today, we have community partners and content experts from across North County to share information with you about what you can do to help us. The reality is that we need your help. If your expectation is that you're going to have a fire truck in your driveway during the next wildfire, your expectation is too high. Okay? LA lost 10,000 houses back in January. There's not 10,000 fire trucks in the whole state of California. So you need to help us by making your home fire safe and making your property defensible. There are things you can do that will make your home stand up against a wildfire without even having a fire truck there. That's where we need you all to help us, partner with us. And your insurance company will like it too. And we'll have someone speak to that. So Thanks for being here. We'll keep it short. Our model on this is a bunch of quick hits. I know how my attention span is at these things, and so we're going to have folks up, a bunch of 10-minute, 7 or 8, 9, 10-minute quick hits from all of our community partners here. And then, like Pete said, we're all going to be here afterwards too. So if any of you have any questions for any of us specifically, we'll be here to answer each and every one of those questions, okay, at the end of this. So I'm going to hand it back over to Pete, and we're going to get going this morning. So once again, thank you for being here. Thanks for caring enough to be here this morning. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Chief. And now introducing Robert Johnson, the PIO for CAL FIRE.
Thank you, Chief August. So we're going to talk about the fire season. Fire season, as we've seen, is now a year-round event. It's no longer a seasonal fire season that we've come to think of from fire seasons in the past. We may be in a lull of fire season currently, but as we saw in November, conditions are changing and we are experiencing fire season year-round. One of the things that we see is the drought conditions. So although we are seeing that temporary relief, we have gotten a little bit of rainfall. We're still below average on the rainfall for the year. And as we transition into the summer months, any of the dead brush, even the live brush throughout the county is going to start drying out from the summer conditions and progress into the winter. Those are conditions that we saw in January. We saw the fuel moistures, the moisture inside of the brush throughout the county at critically dry levels. Once you take those critically dry fuels and you mix that with high fire weather conditions like the increased winds, the elevated temperatures, we have a recipe for disaster for large and damaging wildfires. So as the chief mentioned earlier, there are steps that we can take within the community to prepare for that. So maintaining your defensible space on your property. There has been some recent changes within defensible space, but defensible space maintenance, the state law requires that you maintain defensible space on your property at all times. It's not just in the summer, it's not just in the fall, it's at all times. Maintaining that defensible space, if you do it throughout the year, that's going to make less work at one time in the year. The big thing with the defensible space is reducing the dead, dying fuels, and ultimately you're creating a barrier around your house that's going to slow the spread of fire, any oncoming fire, and hopefully to reduce the intensity and limit its exposure to your residence or to your structure. With the defensible space, that also takes your house, it works two different ways. In the event that your house is involved in a structure fire, that will also create a buffer or a barrier from any structure fire or any debris fire that you have on your property from transitioning into the wildland environment and creating a barrier and protection to your neighbors as well as the community. Defensible space is a community approach. The more people that we can keep maintaining defensible space around their house, that's going to just create that barrier to be larger and ultimately slowing the fire growth within the community. So the law requires to maintain 100 feet from your property, from any structure on your property or to the property line. So if your property line is 50 feet from your structure, then you only maintain to that property line. But if your property line is 300, 400, 500 feet from the structure, then the required distance by the law is 100 feet. Now we always recommend, if you have the ability to increase that, any increase past that 100 feet of clearance is going to provide additional protection for your property. You may ask, what is a structure? A structure isn't just a residential dwelling, it's any residential, commercial, any building on a property that's 120 square feet or larger requires that 100 feet of defensible space. And again, this isn't clear cutting your property, this is reducing dead and dying fuels, keeping the grasses low, clearing dead leaves from rain gutters, from underneath decks, any combustible materials around your house adjacent to or underneath any decking. And with that, one of the new standards that has come into place, it is required for any new construction, as coming into 2026, next year, it's going to be required for existing construction, is the introduction of a new zone called Zone 0. So there's currently two zones for old construction, which is going to be Zone 1 and Zone 2, that is required by law. And then come 2026, it's going to be Zone 0. The Zone 0 is going to be a distance from your house 5 feet out. You think that 5 feet is a small distance. Well, it is a small distance, but history shows, study shows that a lot of structures are lost not from the initial flaming front of a fire passing through an area, but it's from fire embers that get into brush, that get into combustible materials, dead leaves around a structure that are smoldering, and after the initial flaming front passes, that transitions into a residential structure and ultimately burns it down or damages it. So the data shows that if we can create a buffer from your structure 0 to 5 feet out of some type of hardscape, whether it's rock, concrete, reducing and removing combustible materials, changing out any of those cedar fence panels that connect into your house, that is going to create an increased benefit for your house's survivability after the initial flaming front passes through. Another thing we can do for our houses is harden our homes. A lot of the older construction studies have shown that are not as protective against wildfires compared to new construction. So some things for home hardening is we want to reduce the amount of embers that may be getting into your roof eaves, into your attic spaces by reducing those eave vents, the size of the mesh, as well as changing out some older traditional style siding like your traditional T111 wood siding, and swap that out for something that may be more fire resistive like hardy board or concrete board. So there are many different steps that we can take to harden our home. Now, this is just a broad overview. We do have a table set up where we can answer any questions. We can discuss more on the defensible space requirements and how to make your structure more fire safe, as well as go over some home hardening techniques as well. And then I do want to talk about an additional asset that we have in the area. On the fire in January that we experienced up here, there are helicopters now in the area on response that have night flying capabilities. So we do get a lot of questions about night flying capable aircraft. So we do have resources now that are available to fly at night. Again, come visit us at the booth and we'll talk more about defensible space and home hardening.
All right, thank you, Robert. Okay, next up is going to be Heather Mitchell with the San Diego County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, good morning. My name's Heather Mitchell, and I'm out of the Fallbrook station. I oversee our crime prevention unit here at the station. About 2 years ago, Tom Harrington from North County Fire, Captain Eddie Jones, and myself formulated what was called a community safety task force group. That was where we would go do presentations and talk about disaster preparedness. And so with that, it's kind of evolved in really having the Sheriff's Department have a big component into disaster preparedness. So with that being said, we want to talk about a few highlights that will be important for you all to know. So evacuation and repopulation overview. The county uses 2 levels of evacuation levels. One is a warning level, which is you have 2 hours or more where a potential threat could come to your area. During this time, if you have large animals or you're a caretaker, you're one with limited mobility, this is going to be the time that you're going to want to evacuate. You're going to need that window to get out, because if it goes to an evacuation order, you may not have enough time to do what you need to do, whether it's horse trailers, whether it's your loved one with limited mobility. that is going to be the time where you should leave now. So use that warning level as an order level to go. The second level that we talked about is the order. That is when you're going to get, you must leave now. There is an imminent threat coming to your area. And all of those, we'll talk about this later, but Genesis Protect app is the one that will start notifying you. Ready San Diego is another one that will start telling you to go. Another form of notification, you could get a loudspeaker coming. You could get a door-to-door fireman or police officer, but that may not always happen. And this is why, like Chief McReynolds says, you want to be prepared. Help us to help you. This is an example of the high-low siren. So hopefully you guys can hear it. It's also on our website at sdsheriff.gov. I'm going to go back to it. So the high-low siren is what most of the agencies in San Diego County use for a mass notification. I know Chula Vista has it, Oceanside, San Diego PD, we use it as well. This unique tone started way back in the 18th century, so they've been using this type of siren for quite a long time in Europe as well. It's an easy way for us to disseminate a loud notification system that you need to leave to a larger group. So with that being utilized, you might hear the high-low, like I said, you might receive an alert on it, but this is, when you hear that, you need to get out and go. And like I said, we have more information on our website at sdsheriff.gov. So this is the one I really wanted to talk about. This is, I believe it was launched last year, Genesis Protect app. It's very similar. We've had people ask about Watch Duty, some of the other apps. This is a one where it will notify you. You can get real-time updates. Sometimes with Watch Duty, it doesn't always give a real-time update. You can get notifications on traffic control, shelters. There's a plethora of information offered to you. We do have people, thanks to the Fallbrook Regional Health District, that are here today to help you get connected with Genesis app. And what you can do is you can go to the search window on the app, you can plug in your address. If you already know your zone, you can enter your zone. And like we talked about the notifications, once you have your zone entered, it will start alerting you to what you need to know during an evacuation. With that being said, we also partner with County OES, County Office of Emergency Services. Think of it as our main artery for evacuation response. They work with fire, they work with police, coordinating these to keep our communities safe, and so that's how we coordinate our evacuation notifications. You might also see, if it's a Fallbrook fire, you're like, well, why am I seeing Oceanside doing road closures or evacuation notifications? And we all work together when there's a disaster to make sure that everyone gets out safely. So it may not be one where you're seeing a sheriff's deputy, right? Because we live here in Fallbrook. We all work together on what's called a mutual aid to get everyone out safely. So the three things that you're gonna wanna know for your personal preparedness plan is, one, to have a plan. We have resource books at our Sheriff's Resource booth that will guide you through what you need to know during and after and before wildfire. Also, you're gonna wanna get connected, register your phone number with Alert San Diego, get connected with Genesis, and most importantly, have your go kit. Because a lot of times people don't think to get that kit ready, and then when it's time to go, they're panicked and they're forgetting what they need. So those are the three things. Get your app connected, get your phone registered, get your go kit. If you're responsible for loved ones, get them ready to go too. We also have great resources to get you connected with large animal rescues if you need that as well. So with that being said, throughout the year, Tom Harrington and I still do the disaster preparedness presentations, and if it's one throughout the year that you need, or you have a group that would like more information, you can always reach out to North County Fire or the Fallbrook Sheriff Station. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Heather. And again, just to reiterate, through the Healthcare District and Fallbrook Senior Foundation for Senior Care, They are out there in the booth. They have a tech table set up, and they can help you download those different applications that Heather talked about. So next up, we have Devin and Robert with FPUD and Rainbow Water.
Thank you, Chief August. Hello, everyone. My name is Devin Castile. I'm here to represent Fallbrook Public Utility District. I want to share with you how much this community really means to me, as this is where I grew up, and this is actually the high school that I graduated from. Might have been barely, but I did graduate. I want to take this moment to share with you the importance of having your contact information on file with the appropriate water district that serves you water. This is the main way that we're able to get a hold of you during a water quality event or a water outage. So please take the time to update your information at your local water district. Due to the recent fires, I want to reach out and make sure you guys have an understanding of how our water distribution systems and our storage tanks work. In a way, it's kind of compared to a glass of water. As that glass of water, you want fresh water all the time. Our distribution system's the same way. So in able to do that, we're cycling our tanks as much as possible. It's not very easy. You see a lot of tanks out there. A lot of them are 40 feet tall. We do not keep those tanks full all the time. That would be horrible for water quality. So we try and cycle those tanks at least 50%. In order to get that 50% exchange, it's much easier to accomplish that at lower levels, like 5 to 10 feet. So during wintertime, tanks are being cycled between 5 and 10 feet. As they get warmer, it's probably 10 to 20 feet. And then when we get into high fire danger weather, Santa Ana's, SDG will notify us for safety public shutoffs. And those tanks are going to be full during that time as a precaution. But understand that water quality is our main concern, and we aim to maintain fresh water as much as possible. Our operators keep a close eye on the forecast and adjust the tank levels accordingly. Both Rainbow and Fallbrook have the opportunity to order water from Eastern Municipal Water 3 times a day. These times are preset. It's 8:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon, and 8:30 at night. Operations staff is on call 7/24, calculating the water in these tanks. So just like that glass of water, you don't want it sitting there very long. You can fill that up whenever you want from your sink. We don't necessarily have that option. We kind of rely on these 3 times so the staff is constantly calculating the math. Don't want to order too much, spill the tanks. Don't want to order enough and have the tanks run dry. Both Rainbow and Fallbrook have interconnections between the 2 districts. This is an emergency situation. We can provide them water. They can provide us water, as simple as opening some valves. In addition to that, Fallbrook also has Red Mountain UV treatment facility that we treat water from Red Mountain Reservoir and the Santa Margarita groundwater treatment plant, which we receive water from Camp Pendleton. Many of our customers may not know that our agency share great partners with our neighboring agencies, regards with Rainbow, Rancho, Valley Center, and North County Fire. For instance, FPUD and Rainbow have MOUs in place where our staff is happy to help their staff during and after hours on emergency leaks, and we'll even supply equipment to each other. We also share a great relationship with North County Fire. North County Fire tours our treatment plants annually, so they're more aware of the layout of the facilities, so they can get in and out, and they know and they're aware of the hazards that exist on the sites. We also will do training together, confined space awareness, and these partnerships are great. So it's also important for the public systems to know that we're designed to provide reliable, safe drinking water and support residential and commercial fires. Wildfires are another topic. They're much larger in scale. Just like Keith said, there's not enough fire trucks to support every house on fire. Well, we're stuck with our water tanks, and I can reassure you that during all of the past wildfires, we've never come close to running out of water. We've always had water supply. And along with the wildfire support, we have our Red Mountain Reservoir. It's very large when it's full. It's 435 million gallons. It's able to support helicopters to come in there, grab loads, which makes a big difference during wildfires. Along with that, Rainbow also has a heli hydrant at one of their tank sites, which does the same thing. It's a 5,000 gallon tank. And helicopters can come in, grab water from there as much. Really makes a difference. Our community has really thought this out. So what can you do as a resident to help? Just like you kind of already heard, proper weed abatement is crucial. A lot of residents have been talking about, before they leave their property in evacuation, of just turning their water sprinklers on and leaving. Now, may that be well-intentioned, it may not be super counterproductive. The water districts will not go out to your property and turn off the water if they see it running, if your house is still standing. However, if your house is not there, most of your sprinklers are plastic. As the fire goes through, sprinkler heads melt, water just starts shooting up. It is a waste. So the fire department knows where this precious resource needs to be. We kind of need to let them determine where the water flows. So the biggest impact you can make is weed abatement, or take the last time as you leave to remove any flammables away from your house within that 5 feet clearance. Barbecues, propane tanks, welcome mats, furniture cushions. That's going to be the biggest impact you can make. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to Robert, and he'll follow up and give you guys some more information. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. I did not go to Fallbrook. No. It's a running joke. I went to Vista High School, so. Which school was far superior, I don't know, but it's a running joke between the two of us. I grew up in Vista, so another North County resident. Been in Vista since the 1970s. Saw a lot of changes in this area since then. We used to have a rodeo in Vista, so I remember those days. But let's get to the subject at hand, and Devin gave me like 3 or 4 minutes to talk because of that. So anyway, just to give you some insight about water districts and what we specifically do here in North County is very unique with our water districts here. We're very active with our local fire agencies, including CAL FIRE, a little bit with Pendleton Fire, but all the neighboring fire agencies. And we're also very active with our counterparts in the industry. So let's say county roads, right? Caltrans, the sheriff's department. There's some deputies back there. We had an issue with a customer a few months ago, so I recognize them. But essentially what happens is during wildfire events, like Devin mentioned, we actually add more water to the tanks, right? And we're monitoring the weather, we're monitoring what SDG&E is doing if they're going to kill the power, and we're going to add more water to the tanks. One of the things that we do that's really unique though is we actually show up to the command post of the fire. So there'll be a water representative at the command post. There's also a gas and electric representative there. There may be a Caltrans or a county roads person there. For us as a water district, our intent to being there is to find out, is the fire under control? What direction is it headed? What's the impact to our infrastructure? Is it going to a pump station? Is it going to a tank? And what remedial action do we need to take as a water district to either enhance the delivery of water or get our personnel out of the way? What if it's burning in the direction of where we have one of our crews working, right? So instead of waiting for the fire department to call our front office, the front office to get a hold of somebody in the field, we actually have a representative standing right next to the incident commander, getting that information as it's unfolding. It's very unique to what we do as a water district. And thankful to all the partnerships that we have, when we show up to these incidents, we're actually recognized, we're appreciated that we're there, and we can offer assistance at whatever level that may be. We are not in the putting out the fire business. So I don't want anybody to think that we have water personnel run to put out fires. That's not what we do. But we're there to render assistance in any other way that we can. One of the most unique things is that Rainbow Water was the first the first organization in San Diego County to have what's called a heli hydrant that Devin mentioned earlier. Essentially, it's a steel tank that's open on the top, and it allows a helicopter to come down, drop their snorkel, and suck that water out, and then go deliver it onto the fire. We were the first ones in San Diego County to have that. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, as I recall. So we have all these mechanisms in place to ensure that we continue to deliver safe, potable drinking water to everybody whenever they need it. And one last note that's I'm really appreciative of being here in North County. We're very small agencies, all of us, and it really takes a whole team atmosphere to make this all work together. When the big hurricane was coming, it was a year and a half ago, right? We thought the hurricane was gonna come. We were actually having meetings with Sheriff's Department, North County Fire Department. People were spinning up their EOCs, county roads. We were all talking to each other. We were mobilizing crews, and then it was just a big dud, right? Just a big dud, for us anyway. So, but it just shows that the level of cooperation that we all enjoy here, it's very unique. And I very much appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, you want to know anything about the water systems, feel free to reach out to myself or Devin. We'll be lingering in the area. There's some other folks here that have rainbow gear on or FPA gear on. Reach out to us, ask us any questions. We'll spend as much time as you want. If you want to spend a lot of time with me, take me to lunch. I don't mind. I'm not going to say no. But anyway, thanks for everybody coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robert and Devin. Next up is Superintendent Ilsa Garza Gonzalez. She's representing all the school districts.
Thank you, and good morning. Thank you for being here today. I am the proud superintendent of Fallbrook Union High School District, and it is my honor to actually represent Bonsall Unified School District, Vallecito School District, and Fallbrook Union Elementary School District today. The collaboration that you are seeing today between all of these agencies and the collaboration between the 4 school districts is not just something that is happening today. It happens all of the time. We work very closely with North County Fire and our Sheriff's Department, and during an emergency, that is no different. We also, as school districts, only compete on the field. I'm the only high school district, so we don't really compete, but we only compete on the sports field. The rest of the time, we are partners, we are sharing information because we understand that we serve the same community. It's an honor to host the symposium here at Fallbrook Union High School District. One of the main reasons that we do that is that Fallbrook Union High School District is an evacuation site for the American Red Cross. And if you were here early, you know it's a very large campus. It's difficult to get around, and if an emergency happens during school hours, you're also dealing with about 1,900 teenagers. So it adds a little bit of stress to that. I only have 3 asks for you today. The first one is that you keep your emergency contact information updated in your corresponding school's student information system or parent portal. If you have children at Bonsall and at the high school, or at an elementary school district at the high school, or Vallecitos in the high school, updating it at the high school will only serve your high school students. The other districts won't find out that your information has been updated. So it's very important that you keep that information updated so that in the event of an emergency, we are able to contact you right away. Secondly, follow our social media channels and our websites. We immediately get information out that way because we know that you might not always answer our calls because sometimes you may not think it's important. So you will find the information on the social media channels. All 4 districts have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook, and of course there's the website for each school where you can find that information. And finally, understand that student safety is our #1 priority. So during an emergency, if you call us and we don't answer the phone, it's because we're busy addressing the needs of our students. So please be patient, be understanding, and again, know that any information that you will need will be found on those social media channels and on our school websites. Thank you very much for being here today.
Okay, thank you, Ilsa. Next up is Raymond Lauder with Alta Vista Insurance.
Raymond Lauder, independent insurance agent with Alta Vista Insurance Agency. And just a quick raise of hands, how many here have heard horrible stories about insurance in California right now? All right, there you go. So how did we get here? So for a long time, insurance in California is a very highly regulated environment. There's a commissioner of California where they have to approve rates. And in California, it takes one of the longest to get rates approved. And when rates do get approved, they're actually the lowest. So while that is a great thing, while we were in a low inflationary environment, within the last couple of years, when we got into a hyper-inflationary environment, where everything gone up, all the costs gone up. Cost to rebuild, labor costs, trying to get supplies to even repair cars have gone up. So this really put an impact on the insurance market in California, because the insurance carriers, the insurance providers in California, they weren't expecting, inflation to really affect this way. And when you partner that with all the crazy wildfires that have happened in California, this is what, brought us to the marketplace that we have today. Excuse me. So, what's being done? So the Commissioner of California, the Department of Insurance, and the Governor, they are working together to try to bring balance to the insurance marketplace. They're working very hard to, with different rating models, different things that they can do to try to provide more solutions to homeowners, to clients here in California. Because right now, one of the only places that you can really get insurance is the California Fair Plan. California Fair Plan coverage is very limited. The way that you guys want to set that up, work with your agent to make sure that you guys have the right coverage to be able to rebuild. You guys have the right coverage. You guys know what you guys are covered for, and that you guys have enough coverage to rebuild, because the cost of rebuilding homes in California, they've gone up tremendously. And that's why you see insurance rates going up, insurance carriers, pulling out of the marketplace, sometimes dropping clients. And right now, some of the insurance companies, they aren't even accepting new clients right now. So the options that are out there are very limited. So what can you guys do? Number one is talk to your agent. Make sure that you guys have an insurance policy in place. Make sure that it's active. Talk with them, make sure you guys have the right coverage, and make sure you guys know what you guys aren't covered for too. So that way if something happens, you guys know that you guys have the right coverage in place. And lastly, well, not lastly, another thing that I want you guys to do is when you guys get home, take pictures, take videos of every single room, pull out all the drawers, take pictures, videos of everything in there. So that way, if something happens, a fire destroys your home, the claims adjuster, they'll come out there, they'll see all the different debris. And if you guys have pictures, videos that you guys can turn into the claims adjusters, it'll make the process a lot easier for everyone, okay? And there's a lot of great resources here for you guys. Make sure you guys stop at every single booth, because there's really great resources on getting an emergency kit together, getting all your paperwork together, because when it's time to evacuate, you guys do not want to be scrambling for all these important medications and important documents. You guys want to have all of this ready to go, because when it's time to evacuate, they're trying to save lives. And if you guys are scrambling, trying to find, these last important things to try to get out of the house, just be prepared, okay? Be prepared. So there's great resources outside on that, and I saw some great resources as well on home hardening, creating defensible space around your home, because it takes community and cooperation, okay? Because if a hurricane is coming, an earthquake, or wind and hail, your neighbors, what you and your neighbors do or doesn't do, doesn't really affect it that much. But when it comes to wildfire, what you and your neighbors do or don't do can really affect the neighborhood and the community around you guys. So take it take it seriously, and I know you guys are because you guys are here. So thank you guys very much, and if you guys have any questions, I'll be sticking around. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Raymond. Okay, last but not least, we have Captain Jones, North County Fire.
Thank you, Chief August. My name is Eddie Jones. I'm a fire captain with North County Fire. I'm also board of trustees here at the Fallbrook Union High School District, so I kind of wear these two hats. Kind of just going to give you a little bit of a summary of some of the important things we heard and then talk about one more thing before we move on to the next part. Some of the important things we heard. We heard a little bit about how and the importance of preparing our homes, the defensible space. That's really important. It has been for a long time. What Captain Johnson said earlier about Zone 0, which is at 5 feet from your house, that's the newest information. That is really, really important, and we want to emphasize everybody, explain to everybody what that is and make sure you understand, because that's probably the biggest area that we can do improvements that's going to help our houses. We heard from Heather Mitchell. We heard about the importance of evacuations. We are using a lot of technology to be better and better at this. You saw some of the maps. You heard about the Genesis app, Genesis Protect app. That is very, very important. And we are going to have fire officers in the field from CAL FIRE, North County Fire, and other places help make decisions as to where the fire is going so that the alerting systems through the Genesis app is letting you know. And again, I want to double down on the two ideas, the two evacuation notifications you're going to get. The first is an evacuation warning. That means don't leave yet, start to get ready. You have more than 2 hours. It may change, the fire may go in a different direction. A fire order means you need to be moving out as fast as you safely can. Hopefully you've got a lot of stuff prepped. We heard from the insurance gentleman. I think that's a very good idea to go ahead and take pictures of everything in your home. Take a picture of your insurance policy so you don't have to go looking for it, which is going to slow you down. Chief McReynolds talked about the importance of, or he talked about how we don't have enough fire trucks in the area. So the more you can do on that is going to help. From the schools, Elsa talked about some of her things, the importance of having your contact information, following social media, following the official social media from the agencies. We think that is important for all of them. We would send that same message from the Sheriff's Department, from North County Fire, and from CAL FIRE. Make sure if you have an opportunity, make sure your agencies have your correct contact information, and make sure you're following the right Twitter or social media apps from the agencies. Friends of Fallbrook is very good, but those are not official. We're trying to direct people to get official information. The thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go very, very quickly because I appreciate your patience here, I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about the importance of having good social connections. And what we mean by that, we don't mean social media, even though I just spoke about that. Social connections are really two different dimensions. One is, it's very important and very beneficial for you to have good contact and relationships with your neighbors. If everybody can go home today and get to know your closest 4 or 5 neighbors, have their phone numbers in your phone, know them on a first name basis, this helps the fire department and the sheriffs with everything else we are trying to do that day. Some people are going to be able to evacuate very, very quickly. Some people are going to have challenges. Their kids are at school, we talked about that. Maybe they're at preschool, maybe they're at a friend's house, maybe they're not very mobile. Having good social connections with your neighbors is helpful. Give you another example. What about gates? Everybody, a lot of people have electric gates. If your power is out, which may happen, are you going to be able to get through your gate? And I think most of us are going to say yes. Are your neighbors going to be able to get through your gate? So having good contact with everybody else on your street will help us because we have a limited number of fire trucks. If you are stuck, if you are in trouble or you are fearful, you're going to call 911, and we are going to send a fire truck, but we're pulling it from the fire to there. So, good neighbors, good social connection is important. And then the other aspect of that is more of a vertical social network. And this is what we're going to be working on here in just a few minutes. This is the whole idea that everybody in this room and everybody you're going to talk to as our new ambassadors in this topic is going to be able to have contact with your elected officials. We mentioned a couple of those. Your fire chief, some representatives from the water district, the school, and everything else. There are some studies, there's some classes I took back east from FEMA, and it has to do with looking at how fast communities recover from a disaster. And we're really looking at success now, not from when we put the fire out, but when the community recovers, returns to normal. And what they have found is the better vertical and horizontal social connections you have to your neighbors, as well to the people that are serving you in government and non-government agencies, the more connections you have, the better the communities are able to recover and bounce back. So a resilient community is what we're looking for. And Pete's going to talk about it in just a minute, but when you go out and talk to everybody out here that is got booths here or sitting in the first couple rows, that is really, really critical. So with that, I'll hand it over to Pete August.
Okay, thank you, Captain Jones. How about one more round of applause for all the speakers? Okay, just a few things. I know we talked a lot about the visiting the booths, but this is the most important part of the symposium. We were able to give little quick hits on each individual topic from each individual agency, but please go out there, and I challenge you to visit at least 2 booths. One booth I do want to stress is, I mentioned it earlier, is the tech booth. We scan the QR code, we have different QR codes laminated, please scan those, and all of those apps, all of those important apps that we talked about will automatically come up on your phone. So, again, thank you for being here, and we will see you in 2027. Oh, one more thing, sorry. Please scan the QR code on the thank you card that we gave you when you walked in, or you can come up here and scan the QR code. We would really like your feedback so we can make it even better in 2027. So thank you again.